Now, what Peter is saying is there's no such thing as cheap love. He goes on to say, and above all things, verse 8, have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Now, what he's doing here is he's quoting the Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12 says, hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. And Simon Peter, being the good preacher that he was, uses the Old Testament as a text. And what he's doing is contrasting hatred and love. You see, hatred takes joy in exposing the weaknesses of others. And you know, there's some people in every church, in every fellowship, they just seem to have an ability to find something bad about somebody. I mean, their ears are like garbage cans. They just gather up all the bad, and they go around picking scabs and sores and finding fault. And when they find it, they take great delight in exposing it. That's not love. Love does not rejoice in iniquity. Love wishes that it never happened. And love tries to cover it up. That doesn't say we condone sin, we just cover it. There's a difference. Let me illustrate what I'm talking about. Noah came out of the ark, and he got drunk. Now, Noah was a good man. So good that God chose him out of all of those upon the face of the earth. And I'm certainly not trying to make any room for drunkenness. It was a terrible, horrible, hurtful, heinous sin, and it's recorded in the Word of God. And when he got drunk, he also got loose. And so the Bible tells of Noah who lay naked in his drunkenness, in a drunken stupor. Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Ham came and saw his father's nakedness, saw his father in that drunken condition, and he was so quick to run and tell the others about it, to stir up something, to let it be known. But Shem and Japheth took a covering and just sort of backed up and covered their father, so as to help him over this period of shame. Not to condone what he had done, but to cover what he had done. Wouldn't the world be a lot better if we had that spirit? I mean, rather than just trying to rejoice in iniquity, that we would rejoice in truth. Edgar Guest said, let me be a little kinder. Let me be a little blinder to the faults of those around me. Let me praise a little more. That's what love does. Love finds somebody to praise, and love covers sin. It's real love that does that. Now, Peter is saying that Jesus is coming. And because Jesus is coming, we need to have a love that costs, fervent love. We need to have a love that covers. And we need to have a love that cares. Jesus also was speaking of the last days, and Jesus said concerning the last days, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. The word iniquity literally means lawlessness. There's going to be a tidal wave of crime and immorality and vice in the last days. And because of that, because there will be great lawlessness, there will be great lovelessness. You say, why? Well, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever found yourself in these days when we see so much crime being suspicious of almost everybody? Afraid to go to the door and open the door? Somebody calls on the telephone. Who is it? You double lock your door. You ladies walk through the parking lot and you kind of hold your purse this way, looking around. You lock the doors on the car, and somebody comes to you and tries to sell you something. You say, what's his game? What's he up to? Some kind of a con man, somebody trying to get me out of my money, and so forth. You feel that way? We're almost paranoid about it, aren't we? Living in these last days, because lawlessness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And what Peter is saying is, don't let that get to you. Don't let the devil keep you from loving in these last days. Above all, have fervent love. Why is love so important? Why does he say above all? I'll tell you why, and you pay attention. Love is the greatest virtue you can have. Now abideth these 3, faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is what? Love. The greatest virtue you can have is love. But not only is love the greatest virtue, I want to tell you love is the greatest commandment. Somebody came to Jesus and said, what is the great commandment? Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. Now, dear friend, if it's the first and great commandment, then we better learn how to do it.